It's pretty difficult to put into words how disgusted I am, how depressed I am.
What is going on, everybody? Today we have the Week 14 form. This is the last week of the regular season. 6 teams will make the playoffs, 6 teams will not. 5 teams already secured a spot. Basically, there's one matchup with everything on the line, everything they've been working towards, all falls on this week. So it's going to be a great matchup there. We're going to cover that in today's video. We're going to cover a lot in today's video. We're going to be covering a couple recent trades made. Weren't big enough for their own videos, I didn't think, so we're going to cover them today. Matchup reviews of Week 13, some pretty insane games there. A power rankings segment with a tier list involved. We have a path to the playoffs scenario breakdown for every single team, still technically mathematically involved, just to kind of have a little fun, but mainly to see the first round buys, what every team needs for that as well. And then we also have the Week 14 matchup previews in the primetime games of the week. This is going to be a great video. I hope you guys enjoy. If you do, be sure to like. Here we go. Let's get started. Alright, like I said in the intro, here we go. We're going to cover the recent trades that were made in the league, and we're going to start here with the first one that was made, and it was between the Guardians of Your Mom's House and Chubb Checker. It was Chubb Checker is sending off Tua Tagovailoa in return for the Guardians' Khalil Herbert and Aaron Jones. Now, if you guys remember, the Guardians sent James Conner and Romeo Doubs for Aaron Jones earlier on in the season. That trade clearly didn't fucking work, and now sending Aaron Jones back to Chubb Checker. So when you really break it down, it was the Guardians trading Khalil Herbert, James Conner, and Romeo Doubs for Tua. That's terrible. That's awful. I mean, that just sucks. That's not good. Hopefully, Aaron Jones is good on that team for him in the playoffs. I mean, he's projected to come back, and James Conner and Romeo Doubs are doing pretty well. Kind of an L there for the Guardians, but I guess you got your quarterback ever since you traded Kyler away. It's pretty bad managing there. Moving on to the next trade that just happened recently, as in like last night. We have the Little Giants and Chubb Checker again making a trade. This trade, it is Chubb Checker sending off Zach Moss and George Kittle in return for Dallas Goedert, Josh Downs, and CJ Stroud. This was a big controversial. A lot of people did not like this because it was the number 1 seed trading with the number 12 seed. And surface level, when you look at it that way, that's not morally good. I didn't see it to be too unfair. I really didn't. You're trading away your tight end, who is a top 10 tight end when healthy, for a top 5 tight end, right now at least, and you're just getting the backup to JT while he's out, and he's going to be out until I think week 17. I mean, sending away Josh Downs, not really involved in this trade at all, but giving away CJ Stroud, that's the big piece here. He's a QB4. I mean, that was the big selling point. I know it looks bad. It really does. I mean, fuck Brock for that. Right? The Little Giants are corrupt. But if we're being honest, it's really not that unfair. I mean, we have seen much worse. We have seen much, much worse. There's not really much to talk about with these trades. I actually just want to give my winners. For the first trade that we covered, I'm going to give my winner to Chubb Checker. He got 3 players for a backup quarterback who is not even top 10 position rankings wise. And then for this last trade, it's obviously the Little Giants. What the fuck? They got tight end 4, and they got the starting running back who is still like top 12 in rushing yards. I respect the moves that Chubb Checker's making. He doesn't want to get last. He is still fighting to not get last, and I respect that because a lot of guys would have given up by now. We've seen it in years past, and he's not, and I love that. So at the end of the day, if there's anything we can give him credit for, it is that. Good job, Chubb Checker. Let's now move on to the matchup reviews of Week 13. Alright everyone, here we go. We're going to get into the Week 13 matchup reviews, starting off here with Team Doyle taking down Lamar's backpack 120-98. Huge week for Team Doyle, a absolutely massive win, and we'll get into that later on in the video in terms of playoff implications and seeding. But this is a huge win for him. Although not detrimental to Lamar's backpack season, this was a tough one to lose, but he kind of just got unlucky with Kenny Pickett getting hurt and also Diggs and Lamar just being out. Overall, this was a pretty game. I mean, you had some pretty good moments from both teams and some pretty moments from both teams. As you can see, Brian Robinson right here, he got injured. He had to leave the game. Jerry Jeudy, Najee Harris, as you can see, pretty mid performances, but then you had some good ones like Jalen Hurts and Sam Laporta and Derrick Henry. for fucking once. Overall, though, this was a pretty mid game. Not really that entertaining, I should say. But let's move on to the next game here. Thank you, Damar, taking down Team DD 112 to 76.5. Another just very boring game. I don't think Team DD led once. Like, he was my upset pick of the week, too. But that's why I'm doing it so early, because this was just such a bullshit game. Because I don't even know why I did this. I don't even know why I made this my upset pick of the week, because it had no shot. It had no shot, and I'm an idiot. I don't want to spend too much time on it. Damar did this without Tank Dell. That's awesome. Without Austin Eckler, too. Austin Eckler sucks this year, guys, and I'm a Chargers fan. He sucks. Team DD just continuing to prove me right every week that he has the worst on-paper roster, performance-wise as well, I think I've ever seen in my fucking life. Next game. This was the best game. This was awesome. This wasn't the best game. It was one of the best games. It did come down to Monday night. JaxyPat taking down Chubb Checker. Almost 169 points. Nice. To 147. Absolutely crushing blow for Chubb Checker. He would have beat literally everybody else in the league this week. And I think this overtakes the previous record of highest scoring week of the year. I mean, look at this team by JaxyPat. Everybody just went the fuck off. Everyone scoring over 13 points. All but one person scoring 17 and above. That's awesome to see it going into the playoffs. All those trades finally paying off for him. And he didn't even start Charbonnet. He could have. So, I mean, realistically, you could say everybody scored over 17 points for JaxyPat. And as for Chubb Checker, I was saying this in the video last week. His roster is actually pretty fucking good. It's super underrated. And although the record is 3-10, guys, this is not a 3-10 roster. He's just gotten super unlucky. Hot take here, he would have beat Chris this week if Christian Kirk didn't get hurt. Absolutely massive game for JaxyPat. It keeps him in playoff contention to next week, this upcoming week, which you guys will see in a little bit here. Huge win for JaxyPat. I don't think you could have called a better time to score this many points, considering you're going up against someone that scored 147. I want to go now to, let's go to the Little Giants and then Bigger Than Black and White game. Bigger Than Black and White, I called it. Guys, I fucking called it. I said, it's going to be an upset, don't be surprised. And I literally fucking called it, but I didn't make it my upset pick of the week. I have no idea why. Bigger Than Black and White, taking down Little Giants, 142 to 102. We saw it Thursday night with DK Metcalf going off for 37. We said, oh fuck, Little Giants are cooked. But then here came Tyreek Hill, as fucking usual, matching DK, completely negating that within 5 points. Well, then here comes Nico Collins, and fucking he goes off. But when you look at the collective effort of Bigger Than Black and White, you had Rashad White get 20, Puka get 24, Michael Pittman get almost 28, and then you had the stinkers in the flex spots with Marquise Brown and Josh Downs. When you had Christian Watson on the bench, luckily for you, it didn't matter. I don't think Jonathan Taylor's going to be returning to the fantasy season, including the fantasy playoffs, maybe week 17, but he won't be full force, I don't think. So you got to be a little bit concerned there, I would be. However, you didn't really need this game to say this would have clinched a first round bye for you, and you didn't get it done. So now they add some drama to week 14. A great win for Bigger Than Black and White. It keeps you cushioned from last place. I guess that's all you could really play for at this point. Let's go to what I think was the best game of the week in terms of drama. So much was riding on this game. So many teams had chances to make the playoffs if the Guardians lost. Newsflash, they fucking did it! 103 to 88. Guardians coming up huge on Monday night. Shit! An absolute legacy game by none other than Evan fucking Ingram. Gotham needed one man. They were relying on one man to save the Guardians, and Evan Ingram came through. And this was almost a disaster with Terry McLaurin getting 0, Logan Thomas getting 2, just a 2-point conversion, by the way. He didn't even get a fucking catch. The Guardians had 2 people on the team without a registered catch and still won the game. As for Team Armani, the wide receiver woes continue. No wide receiver, no one that primarily catches the football, scoring over 7 points this week. I don't know how you can win when that happens. Now, obviously, Amari Cooper got hurt, and I think he was on pace to do that. So give him some credit there. Guys, this was a huge matchup for the league. Had the Guardians lost, then so many more teams would be playing for playoff spots right now. Hey, good teams come through in clutch situations. Team Armani's still fine. He's still clinched a playoff spot. And obviously, now the Guardians have clinched as well. They clinched the division, shutting the door on so many teams. However, there's still a lot of importance for next week. We'll get into that in a couple segments from now. I'm really excited to show you guys that. But let's now move on to what was the primetime game of the week, what was looking to be one of the most important games of the season. ended up not meaning anything. I guess in retrospect it hurt Aaron Rodgers' Achilles, but for the GOAT squad, this was a must-win game. He won it. He did everything he could, but it just wasn't enough, and sometimes that's going to happen. Look, the GOAT squad takes down Aaron Rodgers' Achilles 125-79. Like I said, he did everything he could. The GOAT squad did everything the team could. He had Dak starting, did great. Kyron Williams did great. Brandon Ayuk did great. And I'll be honest, I will be 100% honest, I was afraid of the GOAT squad. I don't know how many other people were kind of paying attention, but this team has just been clicking. Healthy, might I add. The quarterback situation's been ironed out. The GOAT squad looked incredibly dangerous. And I truly believe, had the GOAT squad made the playoffs, which technically it's possible, but very, very unlikely, I think the GOAT squad could have went far. I think this is one of the best teams right now. They're hot as fuck. Pause. It really is unfortunate for them. Like I said, they did everything they could, and you have to respect that. You have to tip your cap to the manager who kept his team fighting. It's just nothing you could do in this scenario.
I should get some sleep.
For Aaron Rodgers' Achilles, this would have clinched you for the playoffs. Unfortunately, falling here, you had everybody out on bye. I mean, look, you had Allen Moore, Addison, Hawkins. You can't win when you have 4 starters out on bye. You just can't. And if you can, then your team's insane, you know? And you still had big performances, but I think you made the best plays you could. It's just no way you could have won this week with all the starters out. So now that adds some drama for week 14, and I'm excited to get into that. So guys, that's going to do it for week 13 matchup reviews. I am now going to get into the weekly awards, and we have one of each. We have a play of the week and a you fucked up award resulting in a loss. So we're going to get right into that now, starting with the play of the week, not technically resulting in a win, but still pretty strategic play here. And I have to respect that. I have to give you your flowers. Guys, there was nothing else in the league this week that would have constituted a play of the week. So I'm going to give it to Team Doyle here for picking up Russell Wilson off of waivers and blocking literally everybody. Everybody was gunning for him. Nobody was able to get him. In hindsight, it kind of helped. It kind of helped everybody out because I don't think anyone would have won with this performance. I think it actually would have hurt people, but it was still a really smart play to do. You didn't need to do that. The You Fucked Up award goes to Lamar's backpack. And why does it go to Lamar's backpack? Because whenever he needed to stream a quarterback this week, he picked Kenny Pickett, who yes got injured, but he still was not playing good anyways. It was a tough game for the Steelers. But he picked Kenny Pickett to play. But he picked Kenny Pickett to be his quarterback for this week when there was a guy like Geno on the waivers that he could have gotten and played. Or even, this might sound a little crazy here, you could have picked up Jake Browning too. I know that would have been fucking insane if you did that, but you picked up Kenny Pickett. Those are going to do it for the awards. Team Duel for picking up Russell Wilson gets the play of the week, and Lamar's backpack gets the You Fucked Up award for picking up Kenny Pickett. Alright guys, I'm going to be breaking down the power rankings and the tier list for this video like I said in the intro, and I want to keep it fun. They're not just last tier, medium tier, top tier, not like that. I kind of tried to make it a little bit more exciting. We're going to go one tier at a time, and you'll see what I mean in a little bit. I don't want to spoil it. I kind of want to keep it, fun, like I said. In last place contention tier, we have Chubb Checker. Obviously, no surprises here. He is literally in last place. 3 wins on the season. He has to, I guess, win out to not get last place at this rate. For the next tier, I have the somehow I have 6 wins tier, and this is bigger than black and white. Unfortunately, not going to be able to make the playoffs, barring a miracle. Went through a lot of struggles this year, and the fact that this team has 6 or 7 wins in the year, whichever it'll be, I think that's pretty impressive, and I got to give credit to the manager there. Trading CMC, I think, was a huge thing for him. And next tier, the last place contention, but I wish Jay Jettas didn't get hurt tier. And this is obviously Team DD. Lost him for about, 8 weeks? And his whole team was based around Jay Jettas, #1 overall pick, and it came back to bite him in the ass. Honestly, I remember this as a JT scenario. He got hurt after having that huge season, I think 2021. Team DD just fell into the trap again. Dude, first overall pick is not what you want. I am now realizing that with certainty more and more every single year. The next tiers, I have the unlucky misses tier. And these 2 teams, I think had good teams on paper. I think fought hard all year. I think expected to be in the playoffs and just unfortunately didn't make it. the GOAT Squad and the Thank You Damar team. Thank You Damar made a huge couple trades in the middle of the year, which, I mean, unfortunately, we're going to cover in the Worst Trades of the Year award here in a couple weeks when we do the end of the season awards. And it just came back to bite him. It just came back to bite him. The trades that he made did not work. They were actually detrimental to his team. As for the GOAT Squad, made one big trade for Kyron, and that trade was really paying off every single week that he got to use him. Unfortunately, he got hurt for about 4 weeks. He didn't get to play for 5 weeks because of the bye. And it just came back to kill him. I mean, he had a terrible stretch there. And now that Kyron's back, of course, he's going insane. I just feel so bad for the GOAT Squad. And Thank You Damar. I mean, two guys that had great teams this year and just couldn't put it together. The next tier. The whole video revolves around this. The win and you're in tier, I have Jaxie Pat and Aaron Rodgers Achilles. This is a huge game, and I am super excited for this. Projections are about 50-50, which you guys will see in the matchup previews here in a little bit. And who do I think is going to win? I don't know. I mean, both guys have made pretty big trades this year. Both guys have done their best to get themselves in good position. Now, I will say this. Aaron Rodgers Achilles has lost 3 of their last 4, and I believe Jaxie Pat has won 3 of their last 4. Maybe 2 of the last 3. The squad is really working right now. I mean, it's firing on all cylinders. He hasn't made a single trade, so maybe that team chemistry finally built up, and it's clearly paying off for him. I'm really excited about both teams in the playoffs. I mean, whoever makes it is going to be, I think, a really good player. It will be, I think, the 6th seed unless you outscore one of the other guys by like 100 points, 50 points. So whoever wins this game will get the 6th seed, will play the number 3 team in the first round of the playoffs. The next tier, I have playoffs because I score a lot, XOXO. I have this for Team Doyle. No surprises here. I mean, look, he has a playoff spot secured, and he doesn't even have 8 wins. He might, after this week, he's 99% probably will. However, he doesn't have to win this week. He basically clinched because he has that many more points for it. And that's what having so many big weeks will do for you. I mean, we saw it throughout the season. I mean, this guy was putting up 140 like it was nothing. And when you do that, you're going to make the playoffs, especially if you have even a decent record. Team Doyle going to be locked in here for the playoffs. Very respectable. Good for him. Excited to see him there. The next tier, I have playoffs, but my team scares me. This for Team Armonte. Nuked his team, changed it up, and he wants to keep trading. He's scared right now. I don't know why. I think it's just a bad stretch. Everyone has their bad stretch. I mean, remember the GOAT Squad had their bad stretch. The Guardians have had their bad stretch. Aaron Rodgers Achilles is in their bad stretch right now. Jaxie Pat did as well. I mean, every team has a bad stretch of games, and you just got to kind of power through it. The wide receivers are scaring Team Armonte. I don't blame him. I think you just got to ride with it, right? You can't really give up your running backs for any upgrades there. I think you just have to accept that they need to do better, and I think they're good players, just need better results.
Now, the main problem area is up here. All of this going on up here is what's causing me the most physical discomfort. It's like a visceral reaction of discontent coming from this area. This area is not good either. I hate this, but I'm mainly worried about this.
The next tier, I have the playoffs, but has the lowest points allowed, and that's going to the Guardians of your mom's house. Listen, we get it. Probably a fraudulent team. Lowest points for in the playoffs right now, barely behind Team Armonte, and the lowest points allowed in the entire league. Now, do I know why this happens? No, I don't. I went and looked back because I felt something was weird. The Guardians of your mom's house has only scored over their projections 3 times this whole year. Now, granted, that is because the projections are always like super fucking high. It's always like 118, 120 plus. Right, that's hard to do, in the league consistently. So officially, I'm not saying that people can't, because look at Lamar's backpack and Team Doyle and stuff like that. But the Guardians only scoring over their projections 3 times this whole year. Scary sights there. We'll see how good it turns out for him in the playoffs. Hopefully he can get that first round bye. That would probably help him out. The final tier, the top tier, the number 1 tier. I have the GOAT Squad, holy shit tier. God Squad, not GOAT Squad. Fucking idiot. And this is going to Lamar's backpack and Little Giants. Funny enough, I actually put the Little Giants in here before he made the George Kittle trade. Yeah, the rich get richer, I guess. Fuck you, Brock. The Little Giants still the number 1 team in the league, and Lamar's backpack still the number 2 team in the league, just going off a record, because they have the best teams top to bottom, right? Lamar's backpack has question marks at the running backs, but Little Giants have question marks at the flexes and the quarterback. I'm not sold on Justin Fields. I'm going to pull up the entire tier list here if you guys just want to take a look at it. I think it's pretty good. I think it's kind of fun. You know, it was the last thing we could do for the league. I didn't just want to do the typical top to bottom rankings, especially for this week. I don't know if we're going to do power rankings anymore in these videos because it's really only going to be about the playoffs now and who's going to get last. I don't really think there's a need for power rankings. So if you guys want my final rankings for the 2023 fantasy football season, I'm going to lay them out for you right now. Number 12, I have Chubb Checker. Number 11, I have Team DD. Number 10, I have Bigger Than Black and White. At number 9, I have Thank You Tomorrow. At number 8, I have Aaron Rodgers' Achilles. At number 7, I have the GOAT Squad. At number 6, I have Jaxie Pad. At number 5, I have Team Doyle. At number 4, I have Team Armonte. At number 3, I have the Guardians of Your Mom's House. At number 2, I have Lamar's Backpack. And at number 1, I have the Little Giants. Alright guys, here's going to be the fun news segment of the video. We're going to be breaking down each team's chances to make the playoffs and the paths to success. Along with that, we're going to be doing the first round buys because that's a little more realistic. So let's get right into that. For the smallest chances, this is the guys that aren't going to fucking make it, but I have to include just because it's fun. For Bigger Than Black and White, here's his path to success. He has to beat Mez this week, plus Tyler or Dom loses, doesn't matter, plus a loss to Team Doyle, who had to have apparently sat everybody, plus Judd loses, and then he outscores every single one of those players by 200 points. If you do that, Bigger Than Black and White, you're going to be in the playoffs. Congratulations. For the GOAT Squad, he has to beat Dom this week. Chris has to lose. He has to outscore Chris by 29 points, and then Colin has to lose, to which he has to outscore him by 160 points. A little bit more reasonable, if you ask me. And then finally, for Thank You Tomorrow, he has to beat Ty. Chris has to lose. He has to outscore Chris by about 19 points. Colin has to lose, and then he has to outscore Colin by about 155 points. If you ask me, pretty reasonable for all these guys. All Colin has to do is just literally nuke his team, and I think a new playoff spot could open up. So for the best chances, not the guys that are clinched by any means, so here we go. For Team Doyle, all you have to do is play half of your roster and you'll make the playoffs. And for Lamar's Backpack, just play a third of your roster. You guys are in the playoffs. Here we go. Jaxie Pad and Aaron Rodgers' Achilles. Obviously, they have to beat each other. Pause. For Jaxie Pad, he has to beat Judd, or Colin/J. Gill loses and outscores both of them by 110 points. And as for Aaron Rodgers' Achilles, he has to beat Chris, or Colin and J. Gill loses and they have to outscore both of them by 110 points. So there is a way to do it without winning. However, it's not really likely. Now, here we go. Here's the good segment, because this is for the first round buys, right? Basically, every single team is going to, make the playoffs that we just kind of covered there in the best chances section, plus the clinch, which is the Guardians, Little Giants, and Team Armonte. For the first round buys, mathematically realistic, okay, the Guardians, first up. They have to beat the Little Giants this week. If they beat them, first round bye. Or a J. Gill loss, plus he outscores Judd and Chris, whoever, by 80 to 100 points. For the Little Giants, if you beat the Guardians, you're in first round bye. Or a Tony loss and a Doyle loss will grant you a first round bye as well, as long as you keep your points for higher than Team Armonte and the Guardians, which you pretty much should. You're about 100 points over. What's up, guys? Future Jackson here. I made a mistake. He actually needs J. Gill to also lose and then to outscore Chris and Judd to secure a bye if he doesn't beat Jax. For Team Armonte, here's what you need to have happen to clinch the first round bye. You need to beat J. Gill this week, and then you also need a Little Giants loss. If that happens, you will get a first round bye. For Team Doyle, going to be hard to win here, a first round bye for yourself. However, it is possible. The first step you have to do is you have to beat Team DD. With that, you need a Little Giants loss. You need a Team Armonte loss, who plays Lamar's Backpack, but then you need to outscore Lamar's Backpack by 17 points. If you do that, you will get a first round bye. The other guys in the Lamar's Backpack division, you have way more points for than them. You don't have to worry about them overtaking you. You would then take that second spot because you have the points for. For Lamar's Backpack, there's a couple ways to get a first round bye here. The first one, the easiest one, you need a win over Team Armonte this week and a Guardians loss to the Little Giants. Or you can beat Team Armonte with a Little Giants loss and a Team Doyle loss. Or you can beat Team Armonte with a Little Giants loss and then outscore Team Doyle and the Judd and Chris game winner. If you do that, you can get a first round bye, mathematically speaking. For Aaron Rodgers' Achilles, if you do make the playoffs, you have to beat Chris. You have to play for a Guardians loss and you have to play for a Lamar's backpack loss. For Jaxie Pad, it's pretty much the same exact way. You need to beat the Ian Riders Achilles team, you need the Guardians to lose, and then you need Lamar's backpack to lose. Obviously, you need to win the division. Crazy. You could literally be on the cusp of the playoffs to having a first round bye. Now, there are a couple more things I want to touch. In the matchup between the GOAT Squad and Thank You Lamar, the winner eliminates themselves from last place contention with a Chubb Checker loss, and Bigger Than Black and White eliminates himself from last place contention with a win over Chubb Checker. Now, if Chubb Checker wins, then everybody's still fair game, and it's very possible that a 7-win team could get last. However, if Mez loses this week, it's very, very likely that he becomes a loser, or it is between him and Team DD. There's pretty much no questions there. Alright guys, I mean, I kind of laid that out for you. Hopefully it made a little bit of sense. It was kind of fun actually doing that. Let's get into the matchup previews of Week 14 and the biggest game of the year. Gentlemen, here we are, the matchup 14 preview, and this is a huge week for a couple teams, and we're going to get into every single matchup right now. Last week I went 4-2, pretty solid week, bringing my season total for picks to 43-35. Pretty respectable if you ask me. We're going to get into the first game here. GOAT Squad taking on Thank You Lamar. Had the Guardians lost last week, this would have been a huge game this week. Unfortunately, all this game really means is the winner eliminates himself from last place contention. So if you want to play that game, these managers can do that. However, we're still going to dive into the game here. Obviously, the GOAT Squad looking like one of the best teams in the league right now, which, as I've mentioned earlier in the video, is tough to see. And I think that he's going to take this win over Thank You Damar. Like I said, this GOAT Squad team would have rolled people in the playoffs. I guess Damar is just going to have to take those punches in place of that. Let's get into the next game here. Team DD taking on a Little Corruption, formerly known as Team Doyle. It's funny. This looks to be another pretty big stomp, another pretty big butt fuck, another pretty big whooping, ass kicking, if you will, bestowed upon Team DD. However, you do have Justin Jefferson finally coming back. Yay, it's only been fucking 8 weeks. 8 weeks too late. Kenneth Walker also might be playing. I doubt it. You know, going up against San Francisco, they might wait one more week just to make sure he's healthy. And that's a terrible matchup to even come back on anyway, so it doesn't even matter. As for Colin, he's obviously playing to try and get that first round bye, as I mentioned in the last segment. So there's a lot riding on this game for Team Doyle here. Mathematically speaking, it's possible he doesn't make the playoffs, but it's highly unlikely. He's pretty much locked up. I mean, he could play half of this fucking team right now and he'd still make the playoffs just fine. Right now, all he's playing for is seeding, and, you know, no surprises here. I'm picking Little Corruption to win against Team DD and send Team DD down in the losers bracket to, you know, start competing for last place, or to not get last place, I should say. Next game I want to highlight is Lamar's Backpack taking on the Corrupt Giants. And this is a fun game as well. Both managers sitting at pretty good spots in their divisions. The Corrupt Giants, formerly known as Team Armani, already securing a playoff spot. He doesn't have to worry about missing it. Now, Lamar's Backpack, being at 7-7, will not have to worry about missing the playoffs either, because he has so many fucking points scored. Even if he doesn't win the division, he doesn't need to worry. However, as mentioned with Team Doyle, both of these managers are also playing for potential first round buys, and considering the records that each team has, you know, we know the competitiveness. I think a first round bye this year is crucial. I think both of these teams are going to be fighting pretty hard. Expect the Corrupt Giants to fight back. I mean, they've been pathetic recently, and the manager knows it, and I'm not trying to dog on them. I'm really not. I'm actually expecting a really good week from this team. Okay, Derrick Henry, more than likely, is not going to play. Okay, he has a concussion. I think he's going to be out, right? So that moves in, you know, I guess, Najee right here. Up. Hopefully Najee even plays. He's questionable right now. Amari Cooper, I think, has a concussion as well. He's going to be out, but that means Elijah Moore gets more of the targets. Good for him. Lamar's Backpack is the one that loses the better player here. However, I'm still going to give the win to Lamar's Backpack because I think the team is just far and away better. I mean, the running backs, they're serviceable. Unfortunately, Derrick Henry's not going to help you this week. But it's the wide receivers, man. And Amon-Ra St. Brown, Keenan Allen, Stephon Diggs, D-Hop. Oh, my goodness. It's just so sexy. Pause. The wide receivers that just have too much firepower. And the Corrupt Giants, what's their one weakness? It's the wide receivers. So you're going to get clear points advantage for Lamar's backpack there. Maybe CMC has a legacy game and can score 40 points, but I don't know. I'm going to give the win to Lamar's backpack, and he's going to clinch his division, potentially clinching a first-round bye as well.
Oh yeah, so Jackson asked me to send in a video of the matchup predictions and all that. Yeah, I mean, if I win and Jackson wins, I get the bye. I don't think that's happening. Brock built the fucking 85 Bears, but what's really more important to talk about here is the corruption that's going on within the committee and with that grimy, slimy Brock Lambert fella. It's really just disgusting that they would let this pass, and just the audacity of Brock to go after the poor man, number 12, Jordan Miskowski. And, you know, I don't know what it entailed, but I assume there was a buyout. Jordan, you give me your best players, I'll give you a stack of shit and a half pack of cigs and some money after I win the championship. It's just corrupt, and it's disgusting. That's all I'll say. Rough day.
Next game. This is what looks to be the game for first place. Both teams 8-5. Guardians of Your Mom's House taking on the Little Giants. This is fresh off the trade that we covered in the video. Looks pretty fucking disgusting. I mean, look at this. Look at Kittle just sitting there. The Guardians have a big task. Okay, they win, they get the first round bye. Little Giants win, they get the first round bye. I think it's going to be a good game. 50-50% split here. I mean, it can really go either way. I like both teams because you're missing Ramondre Stevenson now for the Guardians, but you get Ezekiel Elliott. You had him handcuffed. You stashed him the whole year. This is what you fucking played for, and it worked. So, great strategy there. You're fine. Losing Terry McLaurin on bye, that's fucking fine. Fuck him. Little Giants, gonna be without Christian Watson, I'm 99% sure, so he's gonna have to play JSN. Although the Little Giants are a very competitive team, and I know the firepower, I'm just gonna say this right now. I'm gonna pick the Guardians. I'm gonna do the right thing for the league. I'm gonna put the Little Giants in their little fucking place. I'm gonna send them to the fucking gulag, make sure they don't get a first round bye. Bigger than Black and White taking on Chubb Checker, and I expect a very entertaining game from these two gentlemen. The team's honestly comparable, in my opinion. I mean, you're going to have Dallas Goedert, hopefully, a CJ Stroud, a new addition against the New York Jets of all teams. Not much there. Trevor Lawrence got hurt, and Dalton Schultz, he might play. James Conner out on bye, Curtis Samuel out on bye, Christian Kirk is out. However, the teams look pretty comparable. I think it's going to be a fun game, like I said. This is actually my upset pick of the week, and it's my upset pick of the week because I think Chubb Checkers do. I think he scored 150 points last week and he needs to win. I think he deserves it. I think Bigger Than Black and White put on a great game too, so I expect a back and forth affair from both of these managers. Let's just give it to Chubb Checker. You know, let's just give him this. He needs it. He deserves it. After all he's been through. If Bigger Than Black and White wins this game, he eliminates himself from last place contention. Anyways, gentlemen, here we go. The primetime game of the year. This is what every manager dreams about. What every manager dreads. The win or go home matchup. The primetime matchup. Jaxie Pad taking on Aaron Rodgers' Achilles. And fitting enough, 50-50 split. You can't write it any differently. Both managers in the same division. Only one playoff spot remains. And it's going to be between these two managers. The winner of this game goes to 8-6 and moves on into the playoffs. The drama of this game. I'm going to be glued to my seat. Guys, this is what every manager plays fantasy football for. Your destiny is in your hands. You are controlling your outcome. This is what you have built up for the whole season. Both of these managers have made catastrophic trades, have succeeded and failed, and it's led them to this moment. Both 7-6, the best lineups they could possibly have at this point, everything that they have worked for, all the players they've studied, all the games they've watched, has led to this moment. A chance to go into the playoffs and potentially win a championship. Jaxie Pad going for his third, Aaron Rodgers' Achilles going for his first ever ring, and it all starts right here. You have to make the playoffs today.
Week 14, playing Judd. Winning, you're in. Fuck. My bad, I just hit the cart. But, yeah, winning, you're in. Boys know what's on the line. we're just hoping to have a great week of practice and, leaving it out all on the field. I mean, those boys have really done their thing these past 4 weeks. Put up over 140 points 3 times. A lot of tough games. But we're a resilient bunch. We started the year off, 1-4, and we're in a spot for a playoff appearance. So we're ready. We're feeling confident, and want to wish nothing but the best to Judd, and good luck sitting at home.
Let's break this game down, guys. Jared Goff versus Josh Allen. I'm going to give it to Josh Allen. I mean, look, it's in Kansas City. You know how he is about that. I think it's going to be a legacy game. All right, Chicago defense going to beat Jared Goff. No questions asked there. Tony Pollard taking on Bijan Robinson. This is a tough one. Philadelphia's run defense, very, very good. Tampa Bay's run defense, mid. I'm going to give this matchup to Bijan Robinson. Moving on. Isaiah Pacheco, Jalen Warren. I'm going to give this one to Isaiah Pacheco because he's taking on the Buffalo Bills. In that matchup right here, I just expect the Kansas City offense to just run efficiently as they have all season. Jamar Chase taking on DJ Moore. This is a tough one. I'm going to go with Jamar Chase. Indianapolis secondary sucks. It's terrible. I'm not saying Detroit's that much better, but it's just you have to break it down, and Indianapolis is just terrible. Chris Olave taking on Cooper Kupp. This actually might be surprising for you guys to know. I'm actually going to go with Cooper Kupp here because he has to have a good game, right? He has a big game against Baltimore. They're kicked out of the playoffs right now. They're in the 8th seed in the NFC. He needs to step up. Chris Olave going up against Carolina. Bad game script. You never know what's going to happen. Jameis Winston going to be starting, but I don't know. I just don't know. TJ Hawkinson taking on Cade Otton. Hawkinson, let's move on. Deontay Johnson taking on Addison. I'm actually going to go Johnson here. Okay, Jettis is coming back. I don't know if Addison's going to be that involved. In the final flex spot, Mike Evans versus Tyler Lockett. Obviously, you got to go Mike Evans. It's Mike Evans. No disrespect to Tyler Lockett. He can get his 40 whenever he fucking wants, but it's Mike fucking Evans. So, I mean, there it is, guys. Maybe Darren Waller comes back too this week. He's projected some points for the first time in like 6 weeks. So keep an eye out on that. But here we go, guys. My prediction between Jaxie Pat and Aaron Rodgers' Achilles. Winner goes to the playoffs. Winner punches his ticket. I'm going with Jaxie Pad. The roster he has built, the trades that he have made, not only worked out better for him, but they're just better players overall. I just don't think the Achilles team has... I don't know. It sucks because it's one manager is going to lose their season this week, but I have to be objective and I have to be fair. What I truly believe is that the Jaxie Pad team is better. I think the Jaxie Pad team has better matchups, and I think the Jaxie Pad team is just going to win. However, I will say, I respect both of these managers. They've played great seasons. They have fought valiantly. Both are huge threats to everybody. Guys, that's going to do it for Week 14 previews. Let me go over my picks one more time for you guys. I have the Guardians of Your Mom's House winning because fuck you, Brock. I have Little Corruption winning. I have the GOAT Squad winning. I have the Lamar's Backpack team winning. My upset pick of the week is Chubb Checker because why the fuck not? And for the primetime game, win or go home, win and you're in. I have Jaxie Pad. Guys, that's going to do it. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I thought this was a pretty good one. Hope you guys agreed with that. Moving forward, the videos are going to look a little different because it's not going to really be important to cover all the loser bracket matchups. I will, we'll keep tabs on the last place contenders, but it's mainly the playoff teams now. And I have a couple video ideas that I want to, bring to the channel, if you will. And I hope you guys will enjoy those. Obviously, the big thing that I'm really looking forward to do is meet with the winner of the league and the loser of the league doing the Waffle House Challenge. We're going to do some pretty good interviews there. We're going to do the end of the season awards. I think that's going to be a really fun show. Hopefully we can do that with the whole league together. I think that'd be really cool. I'll try and get that started soon. And yeah, just be on the lookout for new videos. I'll still keep a forum just highlighting the playoff teams now. It's going to be a lot shorter videos. There's not going to be a need for trade block and power rankings and stuff like that, so it'll probably just be recaps and previews. So like I said though, just keep a lookout on the channel for new videos because it's going to be, like I said, some pretty cool ideas I have. Yeah, just be excited for the playoffs because I know I am. I am very excited. I don't know who's going to win this year. I really don't. I mean, I'll give a prediction next week. Every team can win this year. In terms of last place, I think it's going to be Chubb Checker, but every team can win the playoffs this year. With that out of the way though, Thank you all for watching. Good luck to everybody in week 14. Best of luck to Jaxie Pat and the Aaron Rodgers Achilles team. This week's all about you guys. Winning, you're in. And if you're trying to play for a first round bye, good luck to you as well. I will see you guys next time.